Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. So this is just a quick video to announce that Cemu 1.13.2 is now released to all Cemu patrons, but as well as this quick announcement, we're going to be taking a look at everything you can expect to see in this new Cemu version. So before we get started with all of the new changes in this new release, we have now been told that 1.13.2 will be the final 13 release, meaning that the next Cemu version after this one is going to include the texture cache rewrite that we have been waiting on for the past month or so. Cemu 1.14.0 has basically been a work in progress and only been available to Cemu patrons for about the past 4 to 6 weeks. In this period, several changes have been made to this new texture cache rewrite, which are going to be an absolute godsend to all Cemu users, especially so if you are an AMD GPU user. In the event that you are not aware of it, AMD GPU users have been struggling with a stuttering issue in Cemu Emulator, and this issue has been present basically since the release of 1.12.1. In Work in Progress 11, the latest release of 1.14.0, this issue is now completely 100% fixed, and while it is not unfortunately included in 1.13.2, it will be released in the next Cemu version, so hopefully that will be released sooner rather than later. In the coming week or so, I am also going to be producing a piece of content which is going to make all of you guys aware of all of the new changes coming in Cemu 1.14.0 and exactly what the Cemu development team have been up to in the past 4 to 6 weeks. Now that all of that information is out of the way, let's move back to Cemu 1.13.2 and discuss everything that's going to be coming in this version. So first things first, since this Patreon release comes today the 26th of September, this of course means that free public release will go live on October the 3rd. Now that you guys are fully aware of all release dates, let's move on to what's changed in this new Cemu iteration. First of all, let's take a look at some general settings. They have added the option to customize the MLC path. This option will be in the general settings of the options tab within Cemu 1.13.2. This option means that you are going to be able to use a custom MLC folder, meaning that you will no longer have to transfer your MLC01 files from one Cemu version to the other if you wish to update using that secure method. Staying on some general settings, they have added the option to show the menu bar when you are in full screen of Cemu Emulator itself. This means that if you are in full screen mode and you move your mouse cursor to the top of the window, the different options tab will pop down, meaning you can access these even when in full screen mode. Moving swiftly along, let's take a look at some audio changes that are in dire need on this new Cemu release. First of all, they have added support for X Audio 2.8 on Windows 8 and every operating system after that. They have added a latency option to ensure a minimum amount of buffered audio data. This will basically make sure that if you are having any issues with audio crackling, you can adjust your latency in order to fix this problem. They have also fixed leaking in X Audio 2.7 so that it will no longer cause any problems for users of that version. Next up, let's take a look at some input changes. They have improved the support for Windows Touch Input. They have also fixed an issue where calibration of your controllers was not working correctly, and they have also fixed controllers not being selected after you have switched which controller type you are using inside of the input menu settings. This means that if you switch from the Wii U gamepad to, for example, the Wii U Pro controller inside of a game, you will no longer receive any errors and it will just work as fully intended. They have also implemented several fixes for graphics packs, but to be honest, these fixes mostly apply to people who make these graphics packs, and for us, the end user, we do not realistically need to worry about them. Let's just cover them anyway, just so you guys are aware of them if you are indeed one of those people who likes to make their own graphics packs for Cemu Emulator. They have added support for unary operators plus and minus in expressions. They have also fixed expression parsing for lists. If what I've been told is correct, these two changes are going to basically fix how your games are displayed inside of the new lists layout menu inside of the Cemu graphics pack directory. Staying on some other miscellaneous changes, they have fixed an error where an already existing SpotPass file would not be updated and as a result would cause an error in the emulator. I myself have mostly had this issue in Super Smash Bros. 4, though others have reported it in other titles also. Closing out some of these changes for 1.13.2, there are two rather interesting ones which are going to need some comparison and benchmark testing to other older versions of Cemu. The first of these changes is improved accuracy of core timing, and the second one is optimizing of the core audio timing logic to make it less CPU intensive. Both of these changes are meant to bring optimizations to Cemu, so we are going to be testing in the coming days whether we see any performance improvements in our titles on this emulator. As usual, I will most likely do my benchmark using the most difficult to run title on Cemu, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, so keep your eye on the channel for that. As you may have noticed, in the past few Cemu releases, they have mostly been feature updates and not given us much graphical changes. This is mostly due to the fact that all of the graphical changes are being carried out in the work in progress builds of Cemu 1.14.0. As I said at the start of this video, I am going to be making another video which is going to cover exactly what has been changed and what you can expect to see in this next Cemu version. With the constant influx of changes in these work in progress versions and the fact that everything was changing basically from day to day, it was basically pointless to cover them until this stage right before their release. As I briefly touched on in the start of this video, there are so many changes that are going to make so many differences in many games on Cemu Emulator. Just to take two major changes, they have basically fixed every single graphical bug for AMD GPU users in games like Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8 especially. Speaking about the latter, Mario Kart 8, they have fixed some extreme frame drops that basically happened to every single Cemu user. These issues would mainly rear their heads on tracks like Super Bell Highway and Toad's Turnpike, even though they did occur on several other maps just to a lesser extent. So, to be honest, there's not too much more to cover in this video, so I'm just going to wrap it up. As always, cheers for checking out the video. Remember to like it if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see all future videos from me.